Oopsie. One second. Do. We're at round 2. And I think that everything is working, but there is nobody in the channel to confirm it. So you guys can let me know if things are not working out properly. I am here. Great. Great. I'm going to set up a moderator when I get somebody I know in here. Jim, you've been doing it for a while. But we shall see what's going up. Audio does work? It's working? Well, I cheated and had a baby stream before this one. I start a little bit early because I got a lot of work to do. So where did we leave off? Ah, that's hot. All right, we're about to dig into this graphics card. On the one hand, I want to put it on the test bench right away and see if it's going to post. On the other, because it got whacked around in shipping so much, I think it might be wise to take the back plate off and just make sure there's nothing going on that could have been bumped. It looks like there was some kind of epoxy used for the DVI connector that was cut off, which I like because it will keep those pins from touching one another. They're not going to move. It's not moving when I push it around. That's good. So even if that got knocked in shipping, it should hold still pretty good. I think I'm feeling pretty good about it. If it is, well, maybe I'll plug it in and see where we're at. But this is round 2. If you didn't join us for the first one about an hour and 30 minutes ago, I am tearing down a customer's first build. He made a really awesome externally liquid cooled Mini using really premium water cooled products and built it all underneath his desk. It's basically a version of the, what did I call that build? The May build with the radiator. Can't talk. I got to get back in the swing of things. But I put a link in the description for the basic build that he was doing. So we are, yeah, it looks bent. And it is bent, but that's actually, believe it or not, pretty normal for these graphics cards. For the Zotac Minis. Actually, most backplated graphics card with big coolers are bent like this. Maybe not so much like this, but I don't really, yeah, I'm not too worried about that, but it could be a problem. All right, I'm going to put in the test bench and just see what happens. I don't know if I'll power it yet, but we'll see if the motherboard at least recognizes the card and gives me the little standby on light. 1 second all. Yeah, actually, my customer's 2080 Ti is a little bit bent. Not bent so much, and keep in mind, this is really bolted together very well. But it's still a little bit warped too, but it's par for the course. Like I said, it could have been a problem due to the water block installation, but I don't know if it is or not. I want to open this on camera. Add to my collection of MVPC sleeving. This is for another customer build. But I want to see what it is in person. This is papaya orange. And this is just one of those colors that's going to be very hard to see on a computer screen. Indeed, it looked a lot different in person than it did on my computer screen, and I have a color calibrated art monitor, but really, really interesting. You know what I would call this? Not papaya orange. I would call this carrot orange. It's not as, exotic sounding, but this is supposed to be the orange that McLaren uses. I've not seen it in person, so I can't tell. But anyway, a customer is wanting to do a McLaren themed build, and I have to go do some color matching. Well, it turns out that McLaren orange or yellow or whatever you want to call it, papaya orange, is a much contested color. And trying to find paint codes for it it's ridiculous. You go on McLaren forums and people will swear up and down that it's, more yellow than orange and cite old drawings and stuff. But anyway, it's harder than I got into. It's a hard thing I got into. Tumor, again, thank you for supporting this channel and the super chat, which you usually do. Any big plans for 2019? I'm just taking it one step at a time, my friend. One step at a time. It's good to have you guys back. Water is leaking out. It's actually worse than water. It's propylene glycol. It's sticky. It's sticky. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Oh, this too. This is my bad communication. So the customer put these two 50mm fractal fans in the front because I have fan cutouts you can mount it to. And I put those fan mounts there really just because I could. Therefore, if you did have a custom bezel and there was slots in it, you might be able to cool off a modded Pico unit or something like that. I don't know. Like I said, I just put them there because I could. Some customers have put little Alpha Cool radiators. I have to get a shout out in my next video too. Got hooked up with hardware. You guys give me a lot of Christmas gifts, but you could stick that in there. But it doesn't do anything if they have the bezel on the front. So just so you guys know, if you do buy those fans, you can't use the HD Plex really easy with it. And of course, if the bezel's in the way, I'm just communicating that now. It's my fault for not doing a good job there, but just because I put fan holes there doesn't mean they're necessarily useful. But it's my customers that make the Mini cool with all sorts of different crazy builds and ideas. So I just try to put mounts for as many things as I can in it. Okay, we were going to test this out. So I'm going to put this up here. Put this back. Put the key over here. I'm going to first use my Dell power brick because I know it's working. I have this little mini monitor for when I used a Sony camera. But I haven't used it since I got a Panasonic camera, but it's been awesome for having an extra test bench. Alright, one last look. I'm gonna look behind the light. I don't see anything out of the ordinary on first glance, like anything that got stuck behind there. Ooh, more propylene glycol. Just triple checking. I do like how the NVIDIA chips are sealed too, so that makes it nice for this kind of thing. I'm gonna bend this back up like so. Yeah, Joseph, I'm sorry about that, buddy. I would like to have had production be smooth and not spiked like that and continue through, but like I was saying in the last video too, I need to make sure that it's a quality product every time. And some major changes happened with my manufacturer, and I have to wait and find out and see if it's going to be able to be the same quality it was before. Otherwise, I got to do something else. Must have had that one here. Yeah. I got to move my monitor around a little bit too so I can see you guys. Hey Chad, are you going to stick around for a bit? I'm going to make you moderator. Yeah, link Discord in the description. I'll do that real fast. We'll get this thing going. I don't know how to do this. I'll put that in the description later as well. Okay, I need a power cable, a double power cable. I have a customer right now who sent me emails and asked me a lot of questions, which are amazing questions. I told him, you know what? I want you to write an entire list of all the questions you have about getting into small form factor, and especially the mini, because I'm so close to it, I don't know how to help new users out, because, you know, the hardest thing about doing this is that you don't know what you don't know. But one of the things he said is to make triply sure that when I tell people I'm selling my Skywire cables, that it's only for a single 8-pin to 8-pin, not for a dual pin. I do have that on my website, but it never hurts to be more thorough. So that was the point of that short story. You guys are talking about thin 120 millimeter radiators? I want to know about super thin 120 millimeter. The thinnest one that I know of is 20 millimeters. So if you know one that's thinner than that. All right, PCIe, motherboard light, CPU, case fan. Okie dokie. I do not see a amber GPU light. Thank you, JP, for the donation and the well wishes. I have an excellent Christmas so far, and I hope that you have had the same. That's not happy, is it? That's not happy. No signal. No signal. Let's try. say a different cable, but I actually don't have an HDMI to DP cable. And this monitor's only HDMI, so I have to test it on the other bench. So I guess I'll try that. If I can find one that's long enough. Maybe I just need to turn it off and on again, John. Maybe that's all I gotta do. It's good to see you. Alright. Will this reach? No. But I bet I can move this around a little bit. It's working. Sort of working. Please power down and connect the PCIe power cables for all graphics cards. Ooh, that is scary, because I think that's what the customer told me was happening with the rig. So if you're just joining us, the story is here. Customer built a really cool rig. First time build he's done. Lots of really interesting things, but had some problems with it. And he just got, frustrated with troubleshooting, and why should he? So he called me up and said, can you take a look at it? And I said, yes, absolutely. So that is where we are at. I'm helping figure out these problems, or I'm going to give my best shot. I don't know if I can help. Power down and connect the PCIe cables. That is not a good sign. So I am going to take apart the card and see what we can see. Now, if I shock myself, it will be scary. I'll either go, ow, that hurt, or, you'll see me vibrate. I don't want to do that. That would not be fun. Luckily, there's not a lot here that could really hurt me. There we go. So bent that kind of hard to get it out. Yeah, it's actually a Jones Bow product, and it was one of the worst coolers I tested in the lot. It's not, so don't just ignore that cooler. All right, let's take this guy apart. One piece at a time. So this one is threaded into the PCB, and there's also a nut holding it. So I'm going to see if I can use this as a backup, because I can't get a wrench on it. And I'll use this tiny screwdriver, but yep, that'll work. Good. I'll keep this liquid cooling stuff over here. And this one's just threaded into the PCB. So let's see if we can unscrew this one. This one's not even good enough for a paperweight. It's like made out of aluminum foil. Chad sent me some coolers to test out, some premium coolers to test out. I really appreciate him. He is a huge supporter of the channel. So thank you, Chad. I really can't thank you enough. Okay. I was wondering if that was making contact possibly with the actual power connector pins, but it's not. So there goes that theory. Let's try the next theory. I'm going to need a really tiny, super duper tiny, no, maybe 2mm Allen key. Is it actually available though, that Samsung monitor? You know, because Asus announced some really sweet portable monitors last CES, and then, or tickled us with them, teased us with them, and then at Computex they announced them. In the summer they promised they'd be out soon, and we still don't have them out. Got some liquid metal here again, which I don't want to use for the copper. It didn't make good contact, so we're going to try to get that off anyway. Now I'm going to take off these little teeny tiny heat sinks just to be extra safe. You know, that little pieces of aluminum get stuck underneath them, or copper, or anything else. The ones that were moving, this one's moving a little bit. That one got propylene glycol on it and the goo. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Ew. So propylene glycol and the little sticky pads that these use don't mix. Turns into like a propylene jelly. Nasty. I'm going to take the back plate off too for diagnostic purposes. The motherboard I use is my test bench motherboard, so I know that it's working great. His motherboard's over there on the bench behind me. But good suggestions. As far as power supply goes, he sent me it originally thinking it was his power supply, but I tested it with a different power supply and it was doing the same thing. So I'm just hoping. Ooh. I see some burning. I see a lot of burning. That's not good. This has got to be extremely painful to watch. Whew. Taking the heat pad off the V-Regs so I can look at this a little bit closer. I'm gonna have to use a different heat pad if I get the card working again, because this did not hold up. I don't know what to do here. I'm gonna get a toothbrush, I think. And some alcohol. And it looks like, and this is just what I'm thinking, but I don't know for sure, that something happened when the screw got threaded into the PCB, which should be safe. It should be safe to do that. It does look like it's isolated really well. It didn't bleed over into anything important, but it looks like there's a lot of copper little shards around places where you don't want copper shards. And I don't know. I see some burn marks. Let's just clean it up as best we can. Maybe we're okay. Maybe we just need some good cleaning. You know what I really wish I had right now? Those little cans of compressed air. You know, they're not cost effective, so I don't use them, but I think that'd be great for brushing and blowing off the alcohol. I'm getting a lot of the burn off, and I'm probably going to need a magnifying glass, but it does look like these little points. I don't see anything popped yet, and anything that looks like it's damaged on the surface. I disagree, Man of Culture. It wasn't, there was mistakes that were made, but, you know, you can get it in over your head and doing something this complicated. And I take partly responsibility for making videos on the internet that I need to label as do-at-your-own-risk type of stuff. You definitely want to make sure you know what you're getting into and research stuff, but you also don't know the limits of what can and can't be done if you don't know the limits of what can and can't be done. And I definitely didn't want to, you know, stream this to make anybody feel bad or open him up to ridicule, so I don't want that to happen at all. I just wanted to go through it and see what I could see, and maybe ask some of you guys, because you guys, there's a lot of technical experts that watch my channel, and I'm not a technical expert of anything. I just like to play around with computer parts. All right. Get any of the propylene glycol that I missed from before. It kind of got soaked during shipping. All right. Get some of the copper flakes from the PCB. Yeah, it's flaking pretty bad, so I'm hoping that a flake from the PCB as the screw went through it, which was not the great. You want to find something that goes through it. I mean, you can screw stuff into it, but it kind of got wrecked. So I'm hoping that flake was just touching something that it wasn't supposed to, and the card's power controls were saying, whoa, 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 whoa. We're not going to supply voltage to our connections until that is resolved. I'm wondering if the burning was just some propylene glycol or, I don't know, flux or something that just kind of looked like it was charred, because I don't see anything particularly damaged. This capacitor kind of looks like it was leaking from the bottom. You know, it's kind of had that crummy, acidy kind of look to it, but the head is nice. It's not popped or anything, so. Water wouldn't be terrible, but it'd have to be distilled water. Mineral water wouldn't be horrible either. I mean, dust gets on your components anyway, and that has all sorts of nasty stuff in it. You just don't want to run it. I like to use the alcohol because obviously it cleans really well and it dries really fast. Sam asks, will I run to thermal throttling if I use a 65-watt CPU, because you do heavy-duty compiling if you use heavy-duty CPU? That's kind of a loaded question, to be honest, because it depends on how your CPU is set up to run. If you use normal Intel power controls, you are going to thermal throttle no matter what computer case you stick it in or what cooler you stick it into. But it's intended to find that the optimal load. Like, for example, also if you want to do experiment too, you can run Prime 95 and you can run a blend test, and a blend test is pretty heavy, right? But it's not anywhere near as small FFTS. And with a small FFTS, you really can start to see if your cooler is going to thermal throttle, but you'll also never be able to make your system run to do anything that would be a real world indicator of performance. It's a really silly way around. I'm tired. I probably shouldn't be streaming. Basically, what I'm saying is a 65-watt CPU is more than fine for the Mini. Most customers go ahead and just get the K-series CPU anyway, and it works really well. So there you have it. And even if it does thermal throttle, I find that the 9700K, which I've been really impressed with, it does. You have to have a power brick that's going to support it. But as far as heat goes, you can run it at 4100 megahertz all day long inside a Mini with an HL9i. So that's pretty great. You'll get a boost clock, for a little while, a very short period of time, but then you will run it at 4100 all day long. Alex asks, how do I remove the metal tin from the blocks? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I've used a microfiber cloth and alcohol, but this looks pretty dry. It looks like it's really in there. One time I've had to use metal polish. I might have to use metal polish to remove it. I don't know what normal methods are, so if you let me know. But I've only had to remove it when it wasn't fresh one time. Oh, sweet. Yeah. Buy an angle grinder, John Morrison. Are you still a mod from last time? That's cool. I guess it makes your user account a moderator. That saves me some work. Well, I'm just sitting here shaking this, waiting for it to dry off, but I'm just going to try to use the heat gun and not get too close. That's still propylene glycol. Santa didn't bring me an infrared heater for circuit boards. That was so good this year. Might as well just put more. I don't know. I mean, that looks like a job for Linus, testing out brake cleaner to clean off. I don't think I'm even that brave. Well, that's some heavy duty hydrocarbons. And I like me some hydrocarbons, don't get me wrong, but okay, it's already kind of starting to dry off even without the heat gun. One more time, guys. I know this sounds terrible. There we go. I missed a spot. Oops. Some of that gross carbon, whatever it is. I don't know what it is exactly. It's nasty. It's like flux that got burnt. That's what it looks like. And it's on an area that I don't like. While I'm here, I'm actually going to use an old pair of Christmas underwear. It's been washed, don't get me wrong, to clean off some of this gunk if I can. This is disposable. See if we can get this in that nice, shiny NVIDIA dye. Yeah, there we go. You can see where the copper from the block kind of fused almost to the NVIDIA heat spreader. I don't know what you would call that. Cap? Chip cap? What's the fancy term for the chrome? Little cap that NVIDIA and now AMD use. I mean, we could call it IHS, but I don't know if that's the right word for it. But look, isn't that gross? And that's nice and clean. I don't trust liquid metal in some setups. Like if it's nickel plated, okay, but copper, I try to not do that so much. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the IHS, that's like the whole thing, right? But what do you what would you call that the cover. Just it's like holographic almost. I don't know what they call it, but that metal or that finish. I'd like to know what it is. I don't. I'm ignorant of many things, but I try to learn where I can. Okay, let's bust out the big stuff. This is Quick Glow, which is some of the best metal polish that exists. And I only know this because I have a friend that builds show motorcycles. And let me just say that I know the product works. Cannot believe how beautiful his bikes are. It's kind of working. Boy, that got gross really really fast, doesn't it? Blow out your lines with an air compressor if you can before you transport it. Luckily, I didn't dump it all over the card. I mean, now everybody has an air compressor, therefore you can't. Then you gotta plug the lines, but... Ooh, I polished my finger. If I wasn't any longer, I'd be at the bone. I'm feeling it too. It's like buzzing, like it's asleep. All right, it's pretty close. I'm going to do the strip where it touches the voltage regulators next because I can, even though a heat pad was used, but there's a little bit of oxidation. And oxidation isn't pretty. And I like pretty. This stuff is also cool because it doesn't have a heavy wax in it, but it has a very, 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 very slight wax to it. So it keeps your metals looking kind of nice for a little bit longer. Now that's obviously not the best thing for a thermal interface, so I'm going to clean up with some alcohol, but I'm just giving you that information in case you wanted to use it for polishing something. It's called Quick Glow. Quick Glow. I don't know where you can buy it. I was given some. A lot of it, so. I love it. Now the CPU. It's so funny to see the liquid metal tin bond to the print on the heat spreader, the IHS Verizon, the laser engraved. Kind of cool. I'm gonna have to use some metal polish to get off of this too. Diffusion barrier. That sounds more like a thing. Now I do believe The letters on the CPUs could be acid etched, but I'm using metal polish on it and they're not going away at all. So I do think that there might be laser etched, but I could be wrong. But that polish cleaned off that liquid metal perfectly, and normal means we're not working. Oh, no, I'll use... No, I don't use this. Yeah, you guys are like, he's just stalling because he doesn't want to plug in the GPU and see that it really is dead. You're on to me. Now it's dead. Okay. Yes, it will scratch it. That's why I was doing it. Oh, a belt sander. You about needed to. I'll move this if I can. Oh man, I missed a spot again. Basically what I'm doing, if I see any kind of little buildup around any of the components on this, I'm just trying to get rid of it in case the goo from either the flux that was on here before, because sometimes graphics cards you still have a little bit on there, or the propylene glycol that spilled all over it, or whatever it was, is trapping any metallic flakes. And that's why I keep scrubbing it. Eventually I'll be done making this clean. There is a little tiny little bit of metal in there, which I can't use the camera to see, but that rolled off. Alright, I have to throw this rag out after I'm done wiping the table down with it. It's gonna get loud again, sorry. This can actually get kind of hot pretty fast. With that water block on it, it's not a big deal. But I'm gonna stick what I got on it for now, and I'm gonna make sure I have a fan over it, at least. World's tiniest little heatsink for a 1080 Ti. Wait, that's my motherboard. We know that's good. I do have hope. I do have hope because at least we're getting a post screen. It's just saying that the connectors need to be connected, which is a little bit scary. But I do have hope. I have hope. Yes, hardcore overclocking. 2000 megahertz? Pfft, no way. We're going for 2600. LN2 is great and all, but a stick-on aluminum heatsink? Oops, yeah, it is this way. I'm being stupid. Duh, Josh. Why would anybody trust me to touch their hardware? We're all clear of obstructions. All right, let's cross our fingers for our friend and see if, in case I end up poking around over there, I want to get something to put this fan on. What about my tea? Perfect. What do you want to bet I knock it over? Nope. Immediately, I smell a little bit of burning. Felipe, if you want to give me any advice, I am more than willing to take it. But there was a lot of gunk everywhere. So I wanted to get at it and see it. And we got to work with what we got too, so that's part of the challenge. I know that the output cable is supplying the voltage. If I could run it long enough without it smelling like it was smoking, I would get my multimeter on it. So again, what happened with the system, I don't know at what point that the card might have failed, but when I got the system, there was propylene glycol covering everything because the end caps weren't really plugged up all the way because it got kind of jostled and shipped. Well, it got big time jostled and shipping. And because there's propylene glycol everywhere, when that kind of dries, the water vapor comes out of it, it leaves behind really sticky, nasty residue, which just traps everything. It's sludge. So I don't really know much more I can do other than send it to an expert to diagnose it before it really melts something. I'm going to plug it in one more time. Yeah, because we already know that I've already tested this cable in the power supply. This is a completely different system than his. His system's over there on the bench. This is my test system, which works. I need to get thinner probes so they can go right into the PCIe slots. The MiniFit Junior plugs. Here we go. That's perfect. So, I mean, but we already knew that. The stream rate is down. My computer, it's hard to tell what's going on with that. All right, I'm gonna try. It's not the motherboard, my test motherboard. I'm gonna try it without the cables. And I'm gonna see if it gives me the no GPU cables plugged in, which it should, right? Did it before. It posts fine. Please power down and connect the PCIe power cables, which is where we saw the most corrosion because, or I'm calling it corrosion, but the customer used a screw that was really big for the board and tapped it right into the PCB, which in theory would work, but it was just so big that little bits of copper kind of ended up all in that area where you really don't want copper to end up. And I tried to flush anything I could flush out in case something was stuck underneath the capacitor right here, because that was really nasty looking. Nothing looks messed up. I mean, I don't really know what to do at this point, so I can plug it in one more time. And if we don't get smoke or a burning smell, which would be great, I will put a probe on it. Okay, we got a post. I don't have probes enough to test the first fuse on this. That's all I know what to do. Hey Nori, thanks for the super chat. And yeah, those Coolant's quick disconnects are amazing. I use them for my external radiator mount system. Joseph keeps asking over and over again, so at least I'll answer his question. I like the Dan A4 case. Dan has come up with a computer case layout that I think is phenomenal, and made a case and did the work. Got it out there, good quality, really tiny. It's a great computer case if you can get your hands on one. And it inspired a plethora of cases. So if you need something with a slight adjustment to his layout, they are available. Oh, this isn't his rig. His rig's back here. I'm gonna test that out next, but he has the exact same problem. I mean, I'm having the exact same problem on my test system. So I don't know what to do. That sucks. I feel so bad for him. But I'm not qualified to take this a step further. Maybe we can get Lewis to take a look at it for us. And I would love to send this back to the manufacturer to take a look at it, but you know, I don't think they're going to. Not with tap screw holes. But if that wasn't present, I could put this back together. Again, I have, well, the DVI port. I'd have to solder a new one on, but I probably could find that component and somebody who can do that one. Like I said, I really want to get myself a infrared heater so I can do kind of easy quick mods like that, because it's kind of a pain to use the wire wick, the soldering wick, to remove PCIe pin connectors if you need to put them a different one on there. Chad's a good one to ask for about the Dan A4, because Chad, I think he's purchased every small form factor computer case out there and done builds in them. So he has probably even more experience than I do. And plus, he's not biased because, you know, I sell the Mini, so. Okay, Mr. Soak says, you can check the power delivery for GPU core and GPU memory with DMM. Hopefully the screw didn't ruin PCB traces that are relevant to power delivery phases. That's what... I don't actually know how to check with DMM. I don't know what that means. So if you explain it to me, I will try. Is that something that I can look in the UEFI? But I can say that these tapped holes are really rough and they're kind of cracking apart. There's a good bounding box around it, which just looks like just blank silicon, so it'd be fun, like breadboard. But who knows? It might have gotten too close to something that's important. And like I said, this first capacitor had a lot of gunk around it. I don't know if that's actually important. I don't think that's relevant at all to the card not turning on that far. But today's battery is brought to you by 100% tung oil. All natural tung oil. Great for wood, not so great for your tongue. I don't know, just a quick swap for the battery. Now, I should get an AC adapter, but I need to buy the Panasonic one because unfortunately I have bad experience with off-brand adapters. They are cheap, and I burnt up a camera before with one of them, so I should. Anyway. Was it really that much of an inconvenience? If so, I'm sorry. Well, I can apologize, but I want to mean it. All right, well, I got to put this card away for now and then figure out if there's somebody I can take it to. But I don't know how to fix it. So that's a bummer. Mine's a G9 right now, the one that you guys are watching. I'm gonna just test out his motherboard and see what that looks like. Memory isn't populated warning light. That's true. That's very true. Should probably populate some memory. I gotta get a clean rag. Because this other one, as we know, is definitely contaminated. You know, as far as AC adapters go, I mean, AC adapters are generally AC adapters, right? But I'm starting to think that camera manufacturers are getting sneaky and putting in electronics to communicate and cause problems if you're using off-brand batteries or chargers. I know Sony got caught doing that. I don't know. It just, once you lose something expensive like that, it makes you want to just buy the authentic stuff. And I don't want to buy the authentic stuff because it's ridiculously expensive. It's like, what, 60 bucks for a teeny tiny little DC adapter, AC-DC adapter? Yeah, thank you, Mr. Soak. Is that how you pronounce that name? Soak? But yeah, I gotta pass it on to somebody who knows what they're doing. I don't really know what I'm doing ever. I just have the willingness to play with different PC parts. But I do cutting on stainless steel, and I can tell you that it is a pain, a very big pain. But if you're gonna paint stainless steel, I'm not saying that you don't have a reason for doing that, but I like bare stainless steel. I think that's kind of half the fun. Basically, just get a lot of cutoff blades for your angle grinder. If you don't have a plasma cutter laying around and some argon. But you're going to need a heavy-duty angle grinder. And Bellis, I don't need to fake it. I got you guys, right? That's half the reason I stream this stuff, is to get good advice. I have one guy that watched one of these streams. He has been awesome. He wants to remain anonymous, but he has been super helping me out with really high-level engineering advice for testing coolers and all sorts of stuff. I go to him whenever I need something that's in his area of expertise, which is really wide. So it's awesome. It's a great way to meet new people. Okay, let's plug this in and see where we're at. Now, where did I put my cable? This is the worst part. I'm totally unorganized. Here's the DP cable. The Thought I had an HDMI cable. And this only has HDMI out. I kind of want to boot it on the... I don't even know if this has internal video. 2700X, okay. My awesome 2080, which Chad mailed me. Thank you, Chad. It's a heck of a test card. So far, so good. Let's try... There wouldn't be any settings on the motherboard that could cause this because this is working for me. But let's find out. Let's go all the way to Windows. If you got that far, I don't know if Windows is installed or not. I could disable the CPU fan, but I'll just plug this in and call it a day. See ya, Alex. I'm going to get a 2060 when they make a small version of it, for sure. I'm excited about it. Did I not plug that in the CPU? Is that a different one? Oh, yep, it is a different one. It's so weird to me. I mean, it doesn't make that... It's not the weirdest thing in the world, but why is their AMD board so different than their Intel Mini ITX ROG boards? As far as header placements and all that. Alright, Windows didn't even get installed, so I can't go that far on it, but we're not getting any memory errors or anything like that, so. I guess the next step is going to be find somebody that could actually take a look with a microscope and with the proper tools. Not a microscope. Yeah, I guess a microscope. An eyeball assisting device. All right, next project, guys, huh? Clean this up and get going. All right, you guys, your homework while I tear this down is to find out if the Devil's Canyon can work on the Q series chipset from way back in the day. Let's see what this board is. Yeah. Asus Q87T. This is revision 1.03, which I don't know if that's going to mean it actually has that BIOS, whatever it came with, or if it's been updated. But see if the Devil's Canyon CPU i7 works with it out of the box, if that's on the CPU supported list. That would be helpful. Thank you. Problem is too, like even if I could find a GPU for him, he has that water block. Kind of a bummer. It's a big bummer. I am out of customer space. Oh boy. I'll test his power brick a little bit later, but I don't think that's the problem. Unless it is the problem. Unless this caused it. Put a multimeter on it. The adapter. U-brick. Forgot to turn on my cool backlighting. Works on all versions of the BIOS. Awesome. Thank you, guys. That's helpful. I'll have to go over there and look it up myself. Lewis calls it long screw damage. Is that when people put back computers like laptops but get the screws mixed up? Okay. Yeah, I want to send him an email and see what he can do. If he even will work on that kind of thing. I'm going to get a bag for this. Thank you, JP. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's way above my head at this point. It was way above my head before I even began. This whole project was way above several people's heads, it looks like. But you know what? I'm gonna have a bag. A bag. I just went inside. They're eating dinner, so I grabbed a hot spoonful of mashed potatoes. And now I'm choking on it. I'm choking on mashed potatoes. How is that even possible? What a klutz. But I'll have all those screws in the back. Thanks again, JP. I appreciate it. And other people's. Hey, Luna. It's good to see you. Throw out this stuff. Nope. Put that back where it actually belongs so I can find it again. Grab a drink. I will raise you my green tea. This is my disposable cup. Someone bought me some disposable cups, but I hate to throw away like cups that have styrofoam and stuff in it. So it's pretty nasty now on the inside, but I like to say it builds up flavor. Sort of like a deep fryer that you let the oil sit in for Thanksgiving after Thanksgiving for many years. Okay. I want to use a cable. Long enough to where I can go right to the wall. Case's brick is bad. This is a modded G-Unique brick. Treat with respect. Maybe this has to have a load. Because I am getting nada. Which is odd because usually these bricks just straight output. If you have a multimeter attached to it. That's not the correct engineering terminology, I know. Let's get more dangerous and plug in the step adapter. Huh. I don't think there's any particular... I wonder if someone's going to be in trouble. Maybe it was not the screws. This cable's plugged in. Yeah, and I see that there is micro voltage going to it. It's drawing 8 watts, just idling. So voltage is going in. This is going to be straight 12 volt, or should be, but it's, let's hope that it says nothing on it, because there's nothing coming out here right now. Multimeter is going crazy. Shiny blue light. I don't really want to plug in a motherboard. Maybe I have to. Sacrificial motherboard. Well, it didn't fry his motherboard before he got the post. So let's see what's going on. I think he tested this for me already. I don't remember if I asked him to do this. I think it's just the card is dead at this point. Here, and just in case, here. That's good. Going from the back will be easier. What is the deal? I think there's a short in here somewhere. because if I put it on resistance, okay, no, actually that's working. I don't know, maybe I have to turn the computer on first. No, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because this is soldered right into the 12 volt line. What am I doing wrong here? This is converting to 12 volts. We know that's converting to 12 volts because the motherboard lights on this product don't. If it's not working, it's not getting the voltage for it. But right here, these two things come right off the 12 volts, the power connectors. I could cut that open and look. But I'm not plugging in a graphics card into it. No, sir. Maybe I'll plug this graphics card into it. All right, be brave. Be brave. Nothing. How very interesting. I do get the LED on the graphics card. I don't know if you can see that or not from there. I doubt you can. It's shifting LEDs. That's a mystery for another day. I got a job to do, and that is to take that computer apart and put it into something smaller. Sorry, guys. I kind of forgot I was on stream there. I got carried away. The plot thickens. It's better than exploding. Yeah, that's true. I don't think that this one is actually charged either all the way. So we'll see. But it'll be a good reminder for me to go to, eat dinner, go to bed when that one dies. Is it not working? Should be working. Everything says it's working. Yeah, this is not small form factor. This is large form factor, going to get small form factorized. You remember this PC before, though. I made a video on it a long time ago for a friend. And I also did a video for Sapphire with it. I put some of their cards in it. Yeah, it's from the Build a PC with Josh video. Sapphire asked me to do a really basic, how do you build a PC? They really wanted you to stick the graphics cards in and show how to set all that stuff up. I'm scared to turn it outside and have it leak. I gotta drain it. I don't know the best way to do that. Because I used what parts that I had. I guess I'm just going to turn outside and get a bucket. That should be easy enough. Be right bucket. Well, yeah, it didn't get cleaned as much as it should have, but he is selling everything that he owns and going on the road. He's a friend of mine, so I'm gonna rib on him a little bit. But I originally built him a mini because he wanted, a real small computer, and he's like, "This thing is too small. I want something fast." So I built him an ATX version, but now he sees the benefits of the mini. But all too late, or is it? So I'm going to miniize it if I can drain it. It kind of works. It's still going to make a huge mess. Dust is pouring down like a river. At first I thought it was actual liquid from the top of the radiator. How much money do I make from YouTube? I'm not allowed to talk about that. But it's somewhere in the realm of dollars. Tens of dollars. Obviously, the streaming is probably the most lucrative part because you guys are very generous and donate me monies. But I didn't monetize a lot of my streams until recently because YouTube didn't want to show them if they weren't monetized. So I monetized them just so people could see them just recently, and people are now watching them. I don't do YouTube for the monies because I would be very, very, very broke if I did. I'm actually a really shy person too, if you can believe it or not. So I kind of have to push past that to meet new people. That's good enough. It's all coming apart. Anyway. Linus moment incoming, yeah. Tech asks, is this my actual workspace when modding, or is it only used during streaming? I have a lot of modding space, well, more than you see here on camera. I have a big old workbench that's this big, but against that wall, and my computer only takes up a little bit of it. Then I have another tiny workbench here, and then of course the shop, which you guys see on camera sometimes, I have a lot of workbench space there. So that's where I'm doing grinding and cutting and things. But for streaming, yeah, I would say this is my primary little workplace, but I agree, Chad. That's a good suggestion. All right, let's take this apart. I didn't really want to take it apart. I built a really cool computer for him that was going to meet all of his needs, but again, it was kind of it's a too small thing. But it's based on a NUC. I'll show it to you. I'm going to finish it on a stream sometime. A real high-end machined aluminum case that's also the heatsink for the NUC. Nice storage in there, some nice RAM. And I'm going to actually take this power brick, which is pretty nice little power brick you can get on Amazon. It's called the Power Seed AC adapter. It's a 19-volt power adapter. And I'm going to chop it open and then reorientate the cable so I can actually put the power supply inside the casing, which I think will be pretty cool. I actually kind of wanted to put this awesome little... This is basically a UPS. A tiny little UPS in there. But after testing it, these batteries are kind of old. You didn't really get a lot of power out of it. Maybe like 40 minutes, which I guess could be significant. I mean, it's really supposed to be used as a UPS. But make a little bracket for it, stick it in there, and then you have kind of a tiny little computer that can run on battery power for a little bit of time. And this thing works really, really great. And like I said, I tuned it so it worked perfectly for the stuff that he was doing, tested it on it. Because again, he's going on the road. He's going to be living in a RV camper thing. But he has that, which I understand very completely. This is the world I live in. It's not big, so it's not going to work for me type of thing. So we have to move down a step in between. And then he'll be sold on it, I guess. Yep, got to have room to work on old Leaky. Leaky is the owner of that shop, and she just lets me use it for modding purposes. Ugh. I know she's the owner because she marks her spot every night. I would like to do an S4M build next week. I do have a couple lined up, but there's not really a lot left because the case is sold out. I don't have many more. I'm only using the cases for full system build customers now at this point. That's the only way to get one. I hope I'll be able to make more in the future, but with how much things have changed, I am not sure. And here it is. This is my first favorite GPU. for small form factor. If I can get it out. This is the 260X, the R7 260X. But this was a really cool card. This is like the first mini card that was actually good, that actually could play games at 1080p. And it's still not bad today. I have a couple people that I built, friends that I built mini builds for, S3 mini builds, that are using it. And, you know, they play Blizzard games and stuff like that. Sure, and it's 1080p again. It's not 4K, but it's still running real strong for them. So, good little mini card. A good little dirty card. I don't even want to put it on my bench. It's so nasty. Ugh. Looking for a box. I'm going to put it in my trash can for now. Put it in this box. Oh, I know where I'll put it. There we go. See ya, Mexicris. You say that fast, it sounds kind of cool. Sound Blaster Live. We had to do this because he was doing some live streaming setup and he had to loop through audio with a virtual mic and needed an extra audio input. It was confusing, but eventually got that set up. To figure that out again. Very dirty as well. Disgusting, disgusting, I should say. Not just dirty. Do I have a DataVac duster for cleaning up my systems? I don't have anything like that, you know, a on-static vacuum cleaner. I never let my systems get this dirty, so I haven't needed to buy anything fancy. I don't really use canned air. The third thing that I use for a system like this, though, like for my minis, is a leaf blower. I have a low pressure leaf blower, or one that's not very good for blowing leaves, but it's amazing because it can push enough air to get dust out without like knocking capacitors off the board like what you can with a compressed air. There's also all sorts of other problems you can run with compressed air. But I did buy an air dryer for myself for Christmas. So, and a regulator to hopefully get the compressed air down to a manageable pressure. Yes, Lee & Lee is my current case manufacturer for the Mini, but they have a lot of internal changes going on, and I can't guarantee the Mini's going to be built like it is now. Like, oh, that's interesting. No, I don't know about those things. Maybe if you put a link in the description, one of the mods will allow it through and I can take a look later. High volume, low pressure. Then finally, a USB 3.0 hub because he had accessories. Also disgusting. I guess the next thing I have to tackle is the radiator. I really don't want to, though. Gross. Just gross. Just very, very gross. Okay, this is gonna be a challenge. It was a challenge to put in. It's gonna be a challenge to get out. Yeah, Chad, I mean, that's like my only option. What I really want to do is I want to go back to the USA, but it's so hard to get United States manufacturing done because there's not really soup to nuts manufacturing for what we want to do, these computer cases. You have to ship it so many different places across the US, and it just makes the cost go up crazy amounts. Plus, there's a huge advantage to shipping in China, right? So if I can make the case in China, if I could, then I could ship it to my customers in the United States cheaper than if I was making it in the United States and shipping it to people, which is not good for American business, that's for sure. But I'm going to get liquid everywhere, just so you guys know. Just so you know that I know that I'm going to get it everywhere, but now it's in a safe spot to where I can. Oh, it's worse than I expected it to be. Thank you, Luna. I really appreciate it, and the tip. And I guess now it's a $75 Canadian cable, but I really am glad that you like it and the little adapter. Oh boy, here we go. That's what those vents on the bottom are for. I've always wondered why the Lian Li cases put them there. It's in case you flood the bottom with coolant and need to drain it. Hey, Jeremy, long time no see. It's gonna leak even more now they put it on its side, huh? Just wants to be that way. Oh, right, you moved from Maine to Florida. That is quite the culture shock. Just the temperature shock, really. Oh, have you not been there through the summer? Excuse me. Hey, everybody. Hey, new people that are dropping in. I'm not even going to bother to clean these fans, even though I know they're still working. I have too many fans already. But if you guys want some dirty Corsair fans that light up red, let me know, and I'll be happy to give them to you. It's not worth it. Snow. What is this snow that you speak of? TechNord says, what kind of challenges would there be in 3D printing something like the S4M? Well, first you have to design it to be 3D printed, and it would be completely different than it is now, and it'd be a lot bigger. Secondly, 3D printing, there are no processes that make something that looks nice. And believe me, I'm looking constantly because I'm really excited where you can hit a button, you know, and print something off nicely, even if it's really expensive. And the metal printers that are out, even the really nice ones, still look like garbage. So there's just not a way to do it that looks good. It'd be much better to use flat panels and just 3D print side braces, in my opinion. And you could use... Oh my goodness. Oh. This is going outside. Yeah, all 3D printing looks like garbage. The stuff that looks better, like the... compared to normal manufacturing processes, I mean. The Markforged, though, has really, really good looking parts for FDM printer, but again, it's not something that you would use to make a computer case out of. I almost want to throw this away, even though it's a perfectly good power supply. It's so disgusting. You probably can't see the clouds of smoke on the camera, but it's just horrible. That's cool. So I made this little shroud. There's a little USB hub. Not a USB hub, a little fan header hub. I will say one thing, these fans have really nice long cables. I think all radiator fans should have nice long cables. Like the EK Vardar and the Fractal Design Venturi fans need to have cables this long. These are going in the trash can. Those were expensive back then too. Yeah, I'm not knocking like people that do 3D printed cases. There's advantages to it, right? And the advantages can overcome things that it lacks, which is quality. You can have a lot of different modifications on the fly. You can make a lot of different product on the fly. I have to make one product, so I have to make sure it's the balance of everything. But if you have a case like a Geek case, you know, whatever, make a slight modification. It's no big deal at all. So that's really great. Different colors, variants, panels, and stuff. But where I try to operate is where there's absolutely no competition. I'm way too small to have any kind of competition whatsoever. So I want to make really high-end computer cases because nobody is really doing that for small form factor. Well, I say nobody, but nobody was doing it when I started. Now people are, and that's a really great thing. There's lots of options out there. Yeah, the 3D print case you sent me was neat. Like like I said, I think 3D printed cases is cool, and I'm kind of experimenting with them too. But they're not. It's not. I'm not knocking them at all. It's a different type of product, right? Yeah, rest in peace, Case Labs. I really like their product too. Fantastic product. Big cases. Big, big, big cases. Oh, this is so gross. How long has it been since I built this computer? 7 years? 5 years? I don't remember, but... No, Kevin, but I do design work for some big companies, so that's good. Was it in a fire or is it just dirty? I don't know if dirty is the word I would use to describe this computer. I have no problem laying under a vehicle and getting road grime on me, covered in... Well, I do have a problem now getting covered in old transfer case gear oil. That smells really bad, but dust gets me. Grosses me out. Who knows what bugs I'm breathing in? At least with gear oil. You know it's just cancer you're breathing in, you know. Not tiny little mites. H&S Manufacturing. Where are they located? Because I know of a local H&S Manufacturing. The problem, Matt Parks, is that dust just isn't dead human cells. I remember very vividly in a biology class somewhere at a community college when I was a kid, you know how they do those field trips showing what's in dust. And I think ever since then, cigar smoke is good, clean cancer. I don't know what you're talking about. I actually can't smoke anymore because it turns out smoking cigars is bad for your body, but it's not gross at least. Cigarettes are gross. They smell very bad to me. Vaping. I'm sorry if any of you guys vape, but nope, that's not my scene. And I have very little self-respect. I mean, look at me. Okay, we're almost done here. This is kind of cool. This is a Lian Li. Oh, both sides. Hot swap bay. It was very high quality. You can go take a look at that video where I built this thing. If anybody wants it, you're welcome to have it. If you want to pay for shipping, I will send it to you. It's in great shape. It's just really gross and dusty. Cut out this NFC Systems cover. Or the whole case if you want. See you, John. Oh, you're shooting video? Where's that beautiful mini video footage? I'll see you, buddy. Oh, I remember this. I had to like assemble the case around it to get it in. I'm gonna worry about that later. Maybe nobody wants it anyway. Just end up at the curb. Kind of sad. Expensive piece. I do want that pump bracket. That could come in handy. Oh, lock nuts. Josh. It's standard. 3/32. Yes. Yeah, Case Labs doesn't make any cases anymore. They are out of business. See you, Luna. Shipping the whole case over would be $40, but shipping just the hard drive bay would be $11. I could fit that in a USPS box, medium flat rate box. It's a nice case. It's a nice metal Lee & Lee case. It's just dirty. It needs to be hosed down. It's aluminum. It's been painted, but I mean, I did a good job at the time. One thing, it has that radiator bracket permanently welded in there. So, you know, that's kind of a drawback. I'm glad that didn't hit the motherboard. Not that I need the motherboard, but you never know. Want that stainless steel nut, though. All right, to the garage with you. Banished! Banished to the garage! I'm gonna go hose this. Yeah, I'm gonna hose this down. So gross. I even have to hose this stainless hardware down. The mounting hardware is disgusting and filthy. Okay, I'll shut up. I know I'm sounding like a perfectly working record player. Cute little carry purses. My clutches. Okay. $16. That's nice. They're gonna get a thorough cleaning later, but a quick wipe down will suffice for now. And an EK LT Supreme, or Supreme LT. That's old school. Good water block. Good water block that if anybody wants, you can have. No guarantees on the mounting hardware though. I might need to reuse this stuff, but if you want to get your own mounting hardware for it, anybody want a water block? I mean, it's 1150, but you can sure mount it on 1156. Probably could mount it. Yeah, you can mount it on 1156. I don't want to give it to somebody who just wants to hoard stuff. I want to give it to somebody who wants to use it. But if you want it, you can send me an email with your address. Maybe I should make people pay $6 for shipping. That will tell me if they actually want it or not. But 1155, 1156, it should work. I'm going to clean it off. $11.51. That's what I meant to say. I guess it kind of makes a difference. You can send me an email to josh@nfc-systems.com. If you want to Google my website, NFC Systems, you can find it. It's in really good shape. It's actually doesn't really need to be taken apart to clean. It's a little bit dirty on the inside, but I mean, it's been running for 5 years. It's good to go. If you're going to buy new parts for it, I mean, you might as well just unbolt these and clean it out, but it looks nice. Otherwise, I just toss it. It's not worth my time at this point. And I drilled a little hole in it for a red LED. And I'll see if I can find some extra mounting hardware for you. I gotta put this because this is very helpful. Yeah, I love modding brackets for liquid cooling. Is like the easiest stuff to mod to make work. It's great. I remember I inherited a bunch of old coolant stuff from a friend who worked there, and it was old stuff. You know, it didn't have their nice new brackets that were designed for motherboards. It was weird, but I got that thing working on an old Simpron system for a friend with like zip ties and little metal brackets we found in the garage and dremeled up, and it worked great. It was ugly. I was back before when I only owned one tool, my $30 Dremel. It's the only tool I owned. This motherboard will have to have a home too, but I can't give that away yet until I make sure this guy is happy with it being small form factorized. And with the I'm dealing so far, who knows? This is a good motherboard though. I'm actually surprised they had this stuff. It has M.2 PCIe. This chip too is awesome. I'm going to be reusing it. The 4790K. Honestly, the first chip that actually really just straight up beat it in my office was the 9700K. In terms of actually, you know, real life, real world gaming speed. But this one stayed at its entire life at 5 gigahertz and it was no problem to get there at all. Oh, why did I do that? I just wanted to blow the alcohol off and I ended up blowing chunks of dust everywhere. That is aggravating. Join the Republic. Alright, I want to put this in the garage because it's so dusty, but I want it to be safe at the same time. Anti-static bubble wrap. Close enough. While I am giving away stuff, I can't find the other thing. People that want it, this is a MSI A68HI AC. It's an AMD motherboard, and it is brand new. Brand new. Pay for shipping. USPS flat rate medium box. You can look up the shipping cost. And I'm only charging shipping not because I want to charge shipping, but because I want it to go to somebody who wants it. Should be a maximum of $11 anywhere in the US. And this board, I'm not quite sure on the board. This board worked fantastic for me as a brand new board. I bought it for one build, liquid cooled mini build, S4 mini build, and it worked great. And then recently I got another CPU. I was like, hey, look, I have everything to make a computer for myself. So I put it in there and it didn't boot. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's the board that just went bad. That doesn't make sense. Or if it was the CPU or didn't have the right BIOS update for the CPU, the microcode. I don't know. So this one's kind of a gamble. And why did I get this one? There was a reason I got this particular one. I like the I/O on it. But this is the Hi-Fi B85N 3D, which is an Intel motherboard. So again, if you want to pay for shipping, you guys are welcome to have that junk. I want to do builds with them, but I really need more space than I need builds, and it's fun to give stuff away. I had a Fatality ASRock, a more modern board, somewhere in here, but I don't know where it is, and I'm not going to give it away if I can't find it. I need to clean this place. All right, well, what were we doing? We were actually doing work. Okay, so let's go back to our mini ITXing. This was my favorite thin mini board of all time, the Asus Q87T. And this is what I did the majority of S3 builds in back when I was with the startup Your Paladin. Great board. I actually have no idea if this one works or not, so we're going to find out. Y'all said that the CPU works with it. That's great news. A 4790K and a thin mini ITX board. Only from Knots and Concentrate. Hey Nick, it's good to see you, man. I'll ship this stuff anywhere you want to ship it to, but it's not worth paying worldwide shipping. It's so expensive to ship from the United States. It's one of the reasons that, you know, our exports are so low. You know, other countries have subsidized shipping, but we don't. So you don't want to buy, if it's not worth it. Okay. I'll put the motherboards right here so you guys can look it up while I'm working and see if it's something that you want to try out. You can see the writing there. There you go. And I got really lucky. I found I don't know where I got this. But the important thing is that I have 8 gigabytes, looks like, of DDR3, which is perfect. It's not clean though. Oh yeah, you gotta have the case review in business before you reviewed the Mini. You just knew that you didn't have to review cases anymore. It's just done. It's perfect. Uncle Gamer, that sounds like it might be an Ed Chrysler from Sapphire Technology. Hey Ed, how's it going, dude? What's the biggest power supply you can fit in the Mini? The biggest power supply is the HD Plex 400 AC, which I'm really hoping will be in my hands this coming week. And it has a maximum power draw of 460 watts. And I've tested a beta unit, with a 2080 Ti and a 9900K. And it worked amazing. So I'm very, very excited about it. So that's the answer. And Rod, man, the whole crew is here. Hey Rod, how you doing? How's the tractor? I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Rod's tractor. I have lots of mini case screws that are junk if you want them, but please, I need an address and they better send me a label. Maybe I'll send you some other junk too. All right, let's get this installed. I'm hoping that this board works. That would be awesome. I have no idea. But I just noticed the other day that I had the parts I needed to miniaturize this build. So I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. These boards actually go for a pretty penny now, even though that they're pretty old because they were CSM boards and they're just really good. So. Oh, did he have an SSD in there? I gotta go look at the case again. Be right back. And I can actually plug them into here. And I have this adapter cable for it. That's cool. It's with my wherever my pump went to. Actually, I don't know if I have that or not. I got to get the cable. Yeah, if you guys know, because there's a lot of people that are pretty nerdy in there, I need the SATA power cable, and I can never find them when I go to Amazon. The one that goes, like the SATA header cable and breaks out to another SATA power cable, so I can plug that into it. That would make it a lot easier, because right now I'm going to have to use USB 3, which is fine. Actually, it's a Windows formatted drive, so that's probably not going to work. Ow! People are asking if I'm excited about stuff I'm never excited about what gets announced at CES because I don't believe in CES. I used to go every year and make the trip up there, and it was all empty promises of everyone trying to one-up each other with prototypes and ideas that weren't ever really going to release that year. All the cool stuff. So who knows? I don't know. I just wait till it's actually out and available and I can test it. So that's my thoughts on CES. It was a lot of fun though, like into 2009 to 2011, because there were so many of my friends there, and Patriot had their awesome party at the Palms. That was awesome. So you get to go and you meet all your modding friends and hang out with Ed and Rod and the gang. But it just kept getting smaller and smaller every year, and booths started getting closed down. They would move to hotel rooms, and just got to be a logistical nightmare to go visit or do any but thing. So I stopped going. The Model T standing desk. All right, I'm going to take these things down because people had time to look up if they need them or not. And I don't need a hard drive to test this out, but I was kind of hoping just to plug this in and go. And the problem is, I don't know where the sync cable is if I wanted to use like an HDplex. Because the thing about this board, which is neato, is as you can see, it has integrated 19 volt power. So you can just take your power brick. I'm not going to use this one. This one's too big. Well, I might need it for this giant CPU. And plug it in. Plug it in over here this way. Now I need an HDMI cable. A small HDMI cable, if you please. Can you see my underpants? I'm so stupid. Well, it's better that I found it than not found it, I suppose. Alrighty. Front panel. Where are you? I don't want it to complain at me that doesn't have a CPU fan. Ah, I found the front panel too. That pin's a little bent from its adventures in the closet. No? Yes. Different layout than Asus gamer boards. And it posted! Yeah, I'm actually excited about this. That's nice. That's very nice. That's awesome, Ed, but I mean, this from me is a classic. I'd be happy to buy them a new case if they want, if you want to send me that one. Especially the one I made you guys. I love that one. That's like my favorite S3 Mini. So if you want a new computer case for the children, be happy to trade you out. The current BIOS settings do not support the boot device. There is no boot device. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Okay, that's all working fine and dandy. Now, how am I going to get power to my hard drive? I gotta go look at the chat in case you guys help me out with that. Am I gonna walk all the way over here? No? No connector advice for poor Josh? So I'd like to plug that in tonight. I could use a different power supply, but I also have to find a case for this. This will be going in S3 revision 1, which was the slimmest S3. Gonna have to make a custom backplate for it and paint it because he's not gonna be happy if it's pink. So anyway, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. This was a very long stream, but I got some stuff working. Next video will be me finishing my cool little mini computer, which I guess I'll use as a streaming box. And hopefully we get some HD Plex action. I say that every week, but now it's like a meme, so HD Plex action. That's awesome, man. I'm glad that Remiel is now a conversation starter in your home. And last question, Techno asked if the S3 doesn't mean there's an S2 and S1. Yes, there's not an S2, but there is an S1. There's the V3, the V3 Pro, the S1, the S3, and there were 3 versions of the S3, the S3 Elite, and of course the S4 Mini Classic, and now the S4 Mini. Which is kind of annoying when that guy released is the Salvo Studios, because he calls that the S4. It's like, why? It's just come with a different name, dude. Anyway, I didn't kill myself. So, there's that. Next time. You can cross your fingers for next time. Had a lot of fun, guys. Thank you for everything. Thank you for my super chats. Really appreciate it. If you guys want to email me what the heck this cable is called, this SATA power cable connector, so I can buy that, that would be great, because I don't know. And if you want to send me to a person that can diagnose and fix a 1080 Ti, that would be awesome. Good night.